We're watching every Adam Sandler film to see how they hold up. This week we watched Going Overboard.
Going Overboard is Adam Sandler's first film that he definitely wants you to forget. We're very sure the film had no script and the whole crew just made it up as they went along. The whole thing takes place on a cruise ship where Adam Sandler is a waiter who desperately wants to be a comedian. But then terrorists attack and there's a whole lot of beauty pageant girls, plus this guy, and there's also a lot of this. It felt less like a movie and more like a high school art project. It was a fever dream that the audiences and critics universally hated.
We play a game of Adam Sandler themed bingo around here. Up on screen our bingo cards for Going Overboard. Even playing bingo didn't make this movie an enjoyable watch. This was the hardest thing I've ever been through. and I've had death in the family. I've been through a lot.
And I think that's because all my bingo squares were scored so early and then there was no more fun to be had.
Yeah, it was the longest 90 minutes of my life.
I scored bingo in the same moment. In the same moment, there was a fart joke and toilet humor. I also had a couple of outdated words.
Oh yeah.
You wearing a straight jacket? Oh, in your case, it might be a homo jacket.
I scored my double bingo with fat shaming.
Yeah.
All right, there's this fat old lady, and she walks into this bar.
Oh my god, fight scene?
What are you doing, stunt work for Mr. Ed?
I scored my quadruple bingo with reference to boobs. And then I got my quintuple bingo when Sandler started singing.
Comedy, such a lovely lady.
Damn, you almost blacked out your card.
I know, I got every single square except Rob Schneider racist stereotype.
And the hardest part about that was there definitely was a racist stereotype in
Yeah.
this movie. It just wasn't Rob Schneider this time.
I mean, if you count that, then I fully did my score, my bingo card. Thank you.
So proud of you. I had joke at the expense of a short person. And other than that, I had pretty much every single square that you had.
Nice.
And there were so many more that I didn't have that they definitely still ticked off. I gotta say, Adam Sandler knew his voice early on.
He really created bingo just with this film.
This film made Sandy Wexler
Oh.
a 10.
What?
Let's get into this review then. So this film is framed in a couple of ways. First of all, there's all these beauty pageant interviews.
Hi. Hi. Hello.
So it starts with Adam Sandler being like, hey, this is a no-budget flick. We got this ship. We're just gonna go make a movie.
This story is based entirely around the fact that we had access to this nice big boat here and a lot of good-looking women.
In the IMDb, there's trivia about this movie and why there's so many beauty pageant women on this random cruise ship. And it turns out he wasn't lying. There was just a bunch of Miss Universe winners on this cruise ship and they decided to make a film. And then there's this subplot of General Noriega, who's a terrorist group leader who wants to assassinate one of the girls in the end.
Because he's watching the movie that we're watching, but in real time. He grabs the film from this stack of like porno videotapes, which is very indicative of what's to come in this movie.
And then there's the whole plot of Adam Sandler wanting to be a comedian and being a waiter at the same time on this cruise ship, but really trying to work his way up to opening for another comedian.
I'm gonna ask the big comedian Dickie Diamond if I could open up for him just one of these nights. Well, would you hear that? I bet that's my best friend Bob.
Which is a plot that's kind of there and then sometimes not at all.
That is the main premise of the film. We're watching Adam Sandler wanting to be a comedian as a waiter on this cruise ship.
Yeah.
And just like seeing all these other men that are quote unquote successful, but that just means they have hordes of women drooling over them. And Adam's like, damn, why don't I have any women?
I wanna grab her, I just wanna, oh God, that would be good.
And I think they were trying to go for this Malcolm in the Middle type monologue soliloquies where he just steps to the side and speaks to camera, but it was always bad. It was always bad.
Hey, how are you? I didn't see you there.
It was so bizarre, and we've already touched on it, but they just open the movie with a piece to camera after they do this whole intro scene of everyone's name that was in the movie in an animatic of Adam Sandler.
I didn't mind the opening piece to camera. That was like, oh, this is cute. They're doing a no budget flick. They're really like working with what they have.
Not a low budget flick. No budget. Just like this would be an earthquake right here.
But it was the continued pieces to camera that added no value, that I was like, why are you talking to us? Just like do a movie. Play out whatever plot you're trying to do instead of talking to us about it.
Whoa, man, this is my big chance here. volunteer. If I volunteer, I'm gonna be the ship's comedian.
It really did feel like a toddler was on a cruise ship vacation and asked random people to be in the movie.
Hey, waiter! Where's my Bloody Mary?
Ah, yes.
And then there was
Dickie Diamond! The onboard comedian who Adam Sandler just wishes he was.
He was such a scumbag, so unlikable.
All of his jokes were kind of about incest.
This has got to stop. I said, hey, Mom.
It's so hard to talk about this film because there is so little going on. Every 15 minutes is just a cycle of Adam Sandler looking at other people having women around them, wanting women around him, cut to a random subplot. We got this subplot of this like rock star sucking fingers.
Oh yeah.
Chicks, man. I'll sign autographs for you bitches, man.
Bitches, man.
I even acknowledges that it doesn't need to be here.
You see, these guys have nothing to do with this flick, but we threw them in just for a little variety, whatever that means.
The goth rock star ends up being a major part of the film, despite Adam Sandler saying that he has no part in this film early on.
Yeah,
and
just
then
rocks up.
we get a whole music video in the middle of the movie.
A lot of it just seems to be there to pad time. Like the whole piece to camera about like, this doesn't really belong here, but it's here, just screams to me like, oh, they're trying to make up 90 minutes of a movie, but just don't quite know how. The script was written in like 3 days or something, and it really shows.
But first, let's see a montage of some beautiful women.
You can tell the actors are improvising most of the time, and there's so many scenes that will drag on where Adam Sandler will start talking, and it's almost like he looks just over the camera and someone says, keep going, Adam. And so Adam just keeps going, and he might even end the scene on a face just like, ugh. It's so bizarre. Everything seems like a one take.
Yeah. I mean, props to Adam. Like, he keeps it on. He's doing his smiling. He's doing little grooves. This was his first acting gig. This is his first ever movie.
He spoke about it recently.
It was a dream come true. That's what I was trying to do, become an actor and a comedian, and all of a sudden I was in a movie and I was playing a comedian, and I didn't care about too much else in the world.
I will apologize to you, dear audience, because you're here for movie reviews, as we always do. But this was less of a film and more of like a high school art project. The teacher just said, hey, you've got an hour to go make a film with this camcorder that's on loan from the school. Go do it. And that's exactly what the film felt like. And then they really tried to save it in the edit with some sort of narrative arc.
It is very clunkily kind of put together. And because they're filming on a cruise ship, of course the sound is going to be total shit. So most of this film is ADR. Like they would have recorded all of the dialogue after shooting.
Hey, asshole! Bring me another one!
There was an Australian actress in this film that I think helped put Australia on the map well before Margot Robbie or Nicole Kidman did.
Education.
She wasn't a good actor. I'm just saying she was there.
She was there. She was the who the terrorist king was trying to kill, which is a whole other plot that is problematic in its own right.
Sure. And the two terrorists are definitely just white men in brown face.
Doing accents,
So that was good.
Do you want eye lizards? Because one of them is blind!
I think we can skip to the end of the movie now because there's realistically not a plot that we're hashing over here, bar a cameo from a famous comedian back then who had his own laugh track.
And one good sneeze brought out her teeth.
The whole movie didn't have a laugh track except this part.
Oh, I hated it. All the movie up until the end is a bunch of fart jokes, a bunch of just Adam Sandler whinging that he has no women, and he keeps trying and trying and trying until one fateful day when Dickie Diamond locks himself in his bathroom.
Sure.
They do a funeral for Dickie Diamond, and then all of a sudden there's no comedian to open up the show. So who's gonna do it? Adam Sandler.
And then he's not good at it.
He bombs.
He bombs really hard.
He bombs.
Listen, butthole, why don't you quit trying to be funny because all you're doing is pissing me off.
But you know who doesn't bomb? The terrorists that finally come on board to kill the Miss Australia, and they end up finding their passion for comedy.
Oh, wow.
Wow, full circle movie this one comes.
And after Adam Sandler saves the day, he can finally do the stand-up comedy he always dreamed of doing.
Now, how could we forget King Neptune?
Jackie! I am King Neptune, god of the sea.
King Neptune, in the end, offers up his daughter to Adam Sandler to kiss, is the ending credit scene.
So Adam Sandler has sex with the Greek goddess after murdering Dickie Diamond by throwing him overboard.
Going Overboard. It's a family-friendly delight.
With montages of beautiful women and dream sequences of Adam Sandler having sex on the beach.
I hated this movie.
This one was tough. Really tough.
Let's rate it. Let's rate
God.
it. Reliving it now is hurting me. I will be open in my communique with you, my friends. I love Adam Sandler. I wish I'd never seen this. This is a hard one.
It's a tainting movie. For me, it's a 2.
Wow. Please justify the extra
It's a
point.
2. I mean, I have a soft spot for people trying to make an indie movie, a low-budget flick, just running around with a camera. It wasn't painful, and you know why, Mac? Because everything happens within the first 20 minutes. After that, you know exactly where it's going. You're just waiting for the time to be up. It didn't keep throwing disrespect at the audience. It was just playing with itself. So it's not an excruciating one. It's a goddamn that's awful 2.
Joel's speaking for himself here. I wouldn't recommend you watch this unless you make a drinking game out of it like The Room.
That could be fun. If you're getting drunk, that could be fun. Where Sandy Wexler, even if you're drunk, you're not having fun.
No fun, and it's long. Let's draw next week's film. And you know what's good news? We don't have to watch Going Overboard ever again.
It's true. I'm not sure we can get... I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't think we can get worse. All right, get in there.
I'm praying for something better, sir. I'm praying for something better. All right. We are watching next The Wedding Singer!
Let's go! Retribution! Let's go, hey. Put it there, Mac.
Thank love The Wedding Singer, and you're gonna love it too. Subscribe to make sure you see our review of it.
Make sure to tell someone you love them today. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
We know you loved Going Overboard. We think you're gonna love this next video. Come on, give it a little clicky.
Hey, click it with your mouse or your finger.